Hey guys, what is going on? It's your girl Kay, and I am back for another video. I know I've been missing in action. A lot has just been going on. So today's video is going to be story time with Kay. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it. So I know everyone knows that I have a daughter, but I've been getting like weird, not weird, but like random messages like, oh, how'd you find out you were pregnant? So here's the story. Let's jump right into it. So about 2 years ago, around this time, yeah. Is it 2 years ago? She's 1 year. Yeah, a year and a half ago, 2 years, whatever. Do the math. This time, around then, probably like a month ago, I was just feeling really, really weird. So me and my boyfriend, we came home from school. He was at Tiffin and I was at Heidelberg in Tiffin. It was right around the corner from each other. If you know Tiffin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we came home for the weekend and I was like not feeling good whatsoever. Like in the dorms, I woke up at one night and like I really had to go to the bathroom and I like had the bubble guts. And I was just sitting on the bathroom stall, like in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to die. And I was like, I'm like pooping. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to puke. Like I'm just like, it's just going to be coming everywhere. So sorry, TMI. But I'm like, it's just going to be coming everywhere. So there was that. And I just thought like I had like food poisoning or like I was just really sick. Didn't think anything of it. And then like the way my classes were set up, I had the perfect schedule. So like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had a 8 a.m. class that was ran by one of the football coaches. It was like a sports management class. It was ran by one of the football coaches. So he canceled like every other class. And then I had a big gap until 2:30, 3 o'clock. Like one, like it was like kind of like, it wasn't early, but it was late-ish. I think it was like 1:30 because I would like leave my room at like 12:30, go get lunch, and then go to class. So it'd be around there. So I always had this gap. So I always like slept in, didn't really think anything about it. I was like so sleepy, like so incredibly sleepy. Like I would literally go to class. If I had a class at 8, I would go to class, go to breakfast because we got out like 20 minutes later, go to breakfast, go back to my room, and then go back to sleep. So didn't think anything of it because that was just like my norm. Then after that, I started noticing like my tits hurt. Like I was like, dog, like why is my chest so tight? But before then, not gonna lie, again, TMI, not gonna lie, before then, I was like kind of like on the verge. Like, I don't know, I think something's wrong with me because I had nipple piercings and like one of my piercings, like I had like, it wasn't a pimple. I don't know. I knew the specific word for it, but I forget it now. But it was like a little pimple or whatever. It was like, it wasn't a blood clot, but I don't know what it was. So I took the piercing out and I popped it. And obviously it like was better, put some tea tree oil, blah, blah, blah. Everything was good. But I was like, I'm not going to have one piercing in, not the other. So I took them both out. Thankfully I did, right? So I had that going on. It was like so many characteristics. And then I told Joseph, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a couple days late. Like I'm a day or two late. He was like, oh, you're good. You know, you're working out. Like you're not stressed, but like school is kind of like hectic right now. And I'm like, boy, like what are you talking about? Yeah. So we come home for the weekend. Actually, it wasn't even the weekend. We came home for like a day. We leave this like cookout. It was the annual rib off. Well, the first rib off, the first time it ever came here. So we're leaving and Joseph's best friend is following us back to Tiffin. And I'm like, okay. I went home, I like hurried up and like pissed on a stick and it was positive. So I was freaking out and I didn't tell him. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm freaking out. And I had 2 more in my bag. So I hurried up, packed them, like packed the rest of whatever I was packing, and then we got on the road. As soon as we got back to Tiffin, they went out. So him and his friend followed him. Him and his friends, they went out to go party. When I got back, I took another test that he didn't know about. I took another test, and it was false. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, so I got a positive and I got a false. I don't know what to do with my life. So I called my best friend. I'm like, dude, like, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. Like, I literally don't know what to do. She literally drove from Findlay. Obviously, it's not that far. It's like 25-minute drive, if that, like at the longest. She drove from her house to Findlay and spent the night with me while Joseph is out. Never knew any of this, like, didn't know any of this was happening. She drove and spent the night with me. You know, we ordered food, we was playing pool, we was like talking shit, like normal, like all that good stuff. Just like, you know, just like you regularly do when you ain't seen your friend in a minute, like a couple weeks or whatever. So we do that. Her mom, obviously had a few kids, and her youngest sister was like, she was probably like 2 or 3 at the time. So she knew. So she was like, okay, Kayla, like, your strongest piss, and this is going to tell you if you're pregnant, is in the morning. And I was like, all right, you got to tell me, like, when I wake up, you got to remind me to grab this last one, because it's the last one. I'm not getting any more. I was like, this is the last one. You got to remind me and tell me so I can take it to the bathroom with me. Wake up the next morning. I was like, shit, I got to piss. Literally almost forgot it in the room and messed up the whole thing. She grabbed it. We went to the stall. I was going to the bathroom, and she was waiting outside because, you know, like, a college dorm, so you got like the big stalls and you got like the little sink and all that good stuff. So she was waiting over by the sinks in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm like praying in the stall. I was like, oh, and I take it and I was like, okay. It was literally like negative for like 2 seconds, and then I looked back down and it was like bloop, that other line popped up, and I was like, oh. And I showed her, and she's like, oh my God, Kayla, like, congrats. Like, what are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she's asking me 20,000 questions. I'm like, I don't know. Again, Joseph does not know. So then the first thing I'm thinking, I was like, I got to tell him. Gotta tell him. So I call him. No, I text him because I was scared. I text him, and I was like, hey, are you up? And he said something or whatever, and I don't remember like how he figured it out or like how I told him per se, but he was like, okay, I'm coming over. I think I was like, I got something to tell you, like I got to tell you in your face or something, I don't know. Comes over, and I was like, I'm pregnant. And like we just look at each other, and I remember I even have the picture, like we're just like looking at each other and just like, okay. And then instantly, like, after we figured everything out, I was like, okay, game plan mode. Like, we got to do this. So I was like, okay, we need this amount of money. Like, I'm going to transfer it back home. Like, we both got to transfer. Like, we don't have support if I stay out here, even though I love tipping. Like, I don't have support if I stay here, da. So there's that. And then goes into us telling our parents. So it's kind of crazy. So that whole day, we didn't talk to anybody. Like, our phones were literally, like, silent. Like, he stayed in my room. We cuddled. Like, we cried. Every emotion that you think, like, that you could probably think of, like, we went through. Like, we were happy. We were sad. We cried. We went outside for a walk. Like, literally everything. Like, we just, like, everything happened. And then we're like, okay, so we got to tell our parents. Man, I was so mad. Listen to what happened. So we go on this walk. We go outside right by my dorm. It was like this cute little like walking route or whatever. So we go outside the dorm. We go on the walk. And I was like, oh, this is pretty. Like, let's sit down. Let's sit right here. Like, it's like a like nice thinking area. It was like cute. It was like sanctuary, whatever. I was like, let's sit right here. I was like, okay, I'm going to call my mom first. I call my mom and she does not pick up. So then I was like, whew. So then he calls his mom. She doesn't pick up. So we got important news. We could be dying, if anything, and y'all not picking up. So then we walk back. Well, we stayed out there for like probably like 10, 15 more minutes. We walk back to my room and we just chill in my room. And then I think it was, his mom called back first. And then we told her that they were like, I wouldn't say upset, but they were just like, okay, so what are we going to do? And then like my mom probably called back 5 minutes later and she was the exact same way. She was like, okay, so like what are we going to do? Like, they weren't mad. They were just like, okay, so what's the plan? What y'all about to do? What's going on? Like, let us know. So, I don't know. I'm just, like, I don't know. It was just it wasn't awkward, but, like, I wasn't secretive, but I was secretive. Like, just really didn't know anything that was going on, like, the whole test-wise, because I didn't tell him. I was scared. Because I was like, okay, I have a positive and I have a negative. Like, obviously, like, you can't get what a neuron. Like, this isn't science. Like, positive, a proton, and yeah, like, no, like, so that's how that went. And now we have Elise. And she's, like, the most amazing thing. I'm sorry, my head itches so bad. And we have Elise, and she's just so amazing. She's a character. She is so funny. She wild one, man. She wild. But yeah, so if you liked that story, I know it kind of probably wasn't that interesting to most, but hey, if you like that story, go ahead and so yeah, so that's what happened. If you like that story and we can keep up story times with Kay, hit the like button and then hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. I also will be doing a couple more hair videos and then a couple more like mom videos as well. So that is what it is, and I will catch you guys in the meantime. Peace.